Hey buddy, did you pass me while I was taking my zero? No, probably not. You're a little more scared than the other one was. Alright, see you later. Here in Cumberland Gap, Pennsylvania, in between the mountains, there are a ton of little streams like this that look great and are really enticing. But there's so many farms around here. We're surrounded by so many farms that most of us really just avoid the water entirely, because the water filters we carry are great for filtering out bacteria, but they don't do much for glyphosate and all the pesticides. So keep pushing on to the mountains, where when you get a stream in the mountains, you know that no industrial or agricultural processes touch the water. So anyway, keep pushing on. Well, that's where I just came from, so you can see getting back up into the mountains again and finally have a stream I feel confident in filtering. All right, heading out of the gap into the mountains towards Duncannon, I believe. Oh, I'm really starting to enjoy the trail again. It's nice and cool out. There's a breeze going. I'm in the shade. The trail's opening up a little wider because we're in the forest canopy. I gotta say, those 2 days in the heat, I just was having no fun at all. Not that life is all about fun, but you need a little bit of fun. And I was just dreading every step. And even while I was taking my zero at the hotel, I was like, oh, I don't want to move. I don't want to get back on the trail. And after the day was done and had a good breakfast again, a little bit of R&R, I feel more ready for the trail. But even then, I still felt a little bit of trepidation. But now that I'm back on the trail, I'm really glad to be here. And I guess my reflection today, which I'll share later, is about the importance of having fun. Something that I've had a complicated relationship with growing up. All right. Hope you can see and hear the forest sounds and just sense of how peaceful and lovely this all is. And my heart rate's 86 instead of 110 or 120. So, fantastic. I feel like I'm walking through somebody's wedding. There's flowers everywhere. Fields of flowers. Glad I don't get hay fever anymore. It's 11:14, and had this been 2 days ago, I would have been suffering under the heat of the sun. Right now it's not bad. It's amazing the difference 12 degrees and a little bit of humidity can make. sign said view. It is a view. I guess back to the trail. Looks like this is a stealth camping spot for some folks. Oh, and another news. There's a lot more rocks now. Maybe we're getting into this area of Pennsylvania that earns it the name Rocksylvania. Because there's a lot of rocks. All right, pushing on. Okay, this is Hawk Rock Overlook. And I'm headed down there to the town of Duncannon. Well, I'm here in the basement of the Duncannon Assembly of God Church. This is actually, I think it's the basement of the parsonage, and they use this basement as a hiker hostel, which is free and just by donation. There's a bathroom and shower and laundry in there. There's foosball back there. I think there's 6 people staying in here tonight. And another guy and I are hammocking out back under the porch. And I was just going to reflect a little bit today, while everybody's out here, on finding some happiness along the way. When it was so hot the other day, I know I keep talking about it, but it just got to the point where I was saying to myself, this is not fun. Now, I know that in life it is important to sacrifice a little bit of fun and a little bit of pleasure for longer term gain. This is, something that psychologists like Dan Gilbert at Harvard talk about, where you're sacrificing hedonic pleasure, momentary pleasure, for eudaimonic happiness. This is like good spirited happiness. It's more of a connection to meaning, and this kind of what we might call joy almost always requires a sacrifice of momentary pleasure, or the pleasure in the here and now. But there's a flip side to that, and that is that you can't just live in the future. You have to be in the present as well. And if the present just, forgive me for saying it, if the present just sucks, it's really hard to hold hope for the future. And that's why, at least for me, I found that it's so important to find, little tastes of pleasure here and now. And I think about how I grew up being told, okay, don't worry about dating when you're young. Don't date when you're in high school. Just get A's in high school. And when you get all A's in high school, then you'll go to Harvard or an Ivy League school. And then when you graduate from that, then you can go to medical school. And then you go through residency, and then you become a doctor, and then you can date. And that was my mom's philosophy. And it was always like pleasure just didn't matter at all. It was all based in the future. And you know what? I didn't become a doctor, obviously, but I've also discovered that there is no magical time in the future when suddenly you cross the finish line and everything is great. It just doesn't happen. Life is this kind of long race, and so you need to find some pleasure along the way to give you hope for the future. And it wasn't fun yesterday, but 12 degrees cooler and a lot less humid, and it was a lot more fun today. And so I just say, when the road seems hard and long, find those moments of pleasure and really enjoy them.